Today we're going to go back to basics and ask, what is a sentence? A lot of students think they know, but when it comes time to actually write one, they struggle. A sentence must follow certain conventions. It has to have a capital letter at the beginning, and it has to have a period or other end mark at the end of a sentence. Other end marks are exclamation points or question marks. However, periods are the most common. Other things that a sentence must have are a subject, that means what the sentence is about, a verb, what the subject is doing, and a sentence must stand on its own as a complete idea. If it doesn't stand on its own as a complete idea, it's not a sentence. Sentences might have phrases, that means chunks of words that tell when, where, how, or why. Or it might have subordinate clauses. Those are chunks of words that have a subject and a verb, but can't stand on their own. This is often where students run into trouble. They write a subordinate clause, something that starts with because or when, but it can't stand on its own, even though the student thinks it might be a sentence. Let's talk about what each of the elements of a sentence is. A subject means a noun or a pronoun. A subject is the topic or subject of the sentence, and a subject must be doing the verb. You might have a group of words like run the mountain. It has a subject, or a noun rather, mountain, but the mountain isn't the one doing the running. A sentence must have a verb. A verb shows an action or a state of being. Verbs are words that have tense, that means time, did it happen in the past, the present, or the future? Number, is it singular or plural? And something called mood. We'll talk about mood later. Once again, for the verb to count as your verb in the sentence, it must be doing the subject. Remember our example, run the mountain? We have a verb, run, but the mountain isn't the one running. Let's ask ourselves, is this a sentence? The dog ran through the tunnel. Yes, it's a sentence. We know it's a sentence because dog, right there and right here. Dog is the noun that is doing the verb, so it's the subject. And then ran. Ran is the verb. The dog ran. And it can stand on its own. The dog ran through the tunnel. Is this a sentence? Because Susie wanted ice cream. No. Even though it has a subject, Susie, and it has a verb, wanted, because Susie wanted, it can't stand on its own. It doesn't have a complete idea. If someone walked up to you and said, because Susie wanted ice cream, you wouldn't know what they were talking about. What happened because Susie wanted ice cream? We don't know. Because we don't know, it's not a complete idea, and it's not a sentence. Please go to the assignment now. In part 1, you will underline the subject, you will highlight the noun, and you will tell if it's a sentence. Let's do number 1 together. Number 1, the whale jumped out of the ocean. Use a checklist. Does it have a subject? Let's read it again. The whale jumped out of the ocean. Yes, it has a subject, whale. Whale is the noun, and whale is doing the verb, which makes it easy to answer the next one. Does it have a verb that the subject is doing? Yes, jumped. The whale jumped. And does it make sense on its own? Yes, it's a complete idea. So it's a sentence. Please do numbers 2 and 3 on your own. Pause the video and restart it when you're ready to go on. Let's do number 4 together. Jumped out of the ocean. Use the checklist. Does it have a subject? No. Although it has a noun, ocean, ocean isn't doing the action. The ocean didn't jump, so ocean isn't the subject. It's not a sentence. Please complete part 1 on your own and go on to part 2 where you will need to write your own sentences.